All right. I've dug up the next trailer with my trowel.
Yep.
More Shadow Lord. What did you think?
This is going to be a bit like the One Piece one, except reversed, because I know
yes,
I haven't seen any of the animated Star Wars stuff,
No.
but Maul is honestly one of my
Did
favorite
you
villains in
did
Star
you
Wars.
watch Solo? Solo, the one about Han Solo, the film about Han Solo.
Oh yeah, I watched that.
Yeah,
I just
you know
haven't watched
how
the
like
animated
you know how
stuff.
like Darth Maul just randomly shows up at the end.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
with robot
"Hello!"
legs.
He just shows up on the Zoom call. He's
Doesn't
like,
he have, like,
hello.
robotic legs?
Yes,
because his legs got
because his
chopped
legs
off.
got chopped off.
I mean, he's the Star Wars character that survived the biggest
Biggest
injury.
fall.
The
He fell
biggest
down a big
fall.
hole.
You know,
Are we
just glitched his
excluding
torso.
the Emperor in that? Somehow Palpatine returned.
Well, no, because he was like a clone. He
Yeah,
came
yeah.
back as a clone, but
Fair
that's
enough.
still Darth Maul with robo legs.
But yeah, so I mean, I can give a bit of a summary.
Give me
of this.
some lore.
All right, I'll give you the lore.
What's going on?
We're digging up the lore. What's the next pun for that? Loads of lore.
You're no, there's nothing that you can dig with it begins with that. You're luring the lore.
I'm luring the lore.
Out the hole.
I'm luring the lure.
Right, what's the lore?
Okay, so the lore is that after he fell down a big hole,
Yes.
he sat around on a trash planet and went insane. He built himself spider legs at first. He had big spider legs.
Yeah.
And he just turned into a crazy old guy. And then his brother, who's another Maul, Darth Maul's brother Paul. He's not called Paul. He's not called Paul.
Can we call him Paul for the sake of it, though?
He's Paul. He's
Yep,
yellow
Paul.
Darth Maul.
Okay.
But he's a bit more brutish.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up because he was working for Count Dooku or something. I don't know. I can't quite remember. And anyway, he was like, I must find my brother. And he found him on the trash planet. And it was a bit of like a Yoda Dagobah scene where it was like, where is my brother? And he's like pretending not to be him. Like, oh, I do not know of who you speak. You know, a bit like Luke and Yoda on Dagobah.
How on earth do you not recognize
I
him?
don't know.
You've got the same face paint. You got the same face paint.
Put a
You
hood
should
up.
surely notice.
I think he put a hood up.
Yeah, but even with the hood up, you should surely notice the crown poking out the hood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was another subplot in the Clone Wars where Count Dooku was pretending to be someone called Mr. Lord Tyrannus, but all he would do was just put his hood up.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of what was that again?
Of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's not a story of the Jedi.
So that's interesting. I didn't realize that he like sat on a bin planet.
On a bin planet for a while.
I thought that he was instantly like scooped up by.
No. So he sat on a bin planet for a while, and then his brother showed up and like, we must avenge.
So he wasn't like stitched up in a space hospital or anything. He just landed in.
So his
in
brother
bins.
took him to the planet where the witches live, and this is where it gets really strange because you know literally nothing about these people, but there are witches in Star Wars who use magic, not the Force, magic, but spelt with a K instead of a C. And there's like Mother Townsend, and they're all witches, and the Maul species.
Was this briefly featured in one of the weird series? One of the weird spin-off series?
I think it was.
I think, yeah.
So the
Okay,
witches
continue.
and the Maul people, I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember. Zabraks, maybe. They live on the same planet, basically. And it's like the sisters and the brothers, right?
Yeah.
And so he brought Maul to the witches, and they were like, oh, my son, let me heal you. And she gave him some more suitable legs. That weren't spider legs, they were just normal robot legs.
That doesn't sound like magic and healing.
And
That sounds like
she used magic to bring him back to life. Used magic to heal him because he was crazy and insane.
That just sounds like, let me give you a better prosthetic limb.
Yes.
That's science. That's not magic.
They're magic.
Okay.
And then they went to kill Count Dooku or something, but Palpatine showed up and killed the brother. No! And then Darth Maul went somewhere. But then he was arrested by the Republic at some point and was there on the big ship when Order 66 happened. So him and Ahsoka, who's, you know, Ahsoka, had to team up to escape, but then obviously he betrayed her because he's evil. And then he went somewhere else after the war and hid out and started a crime syndicate, which is where you see him in Solo because he's the boss of that crime gang in that film. And that's what this show is about, him having a crime gang and doing criminal stuff.
Okay.
So
I'm still amazed that like half of his body was open and he managed to survive on a planet of just everything
Of
you
just
touch is
trash.
going to give you an infection.
Yep.
Like, so he didn't.
An
He wasn't
open wound,
instantly
yeah.
scooped up into a space hospital and stitched up. He had to build his own Spidey legs.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
While just like bleeding out.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then.
he obviously hated Obi-Wan for it.
Yeah.
And then
always-
actually we know how he dies, of course, because
he dies.
he shows up in Rebels on a different planet. This is after he's lost his criminal empire and he's sad again. The main character in that, Ezra, finds him, and Maul manages. I think they do a bit of a Yoda thing again, where he's like, "I'm a good guy. I'm going to pretend that I'm a good guy." And
Because
Ezra,
I've got my hood up.
I've got my hood up, and Ezra falls for it. And then they team up for a while, and then Ezra almost turns to the dark side, but then they're like, "No, he's a bad guy," and it's like, "Whoa!" But then Obi-Wan kills him in what some people consider the most anticlimactic fight in all of Star Wars, because there's a really long build-up. They're talking, the fight with their lightsabers, and then literally it lasts like 2 seconds. The fight lasts like 2 seconds. Everyone just and he's dead.
What?
And then he dies in his arms, and he's like, "Ah!" And they sort of have a bonding moment because they've been in this war for so long. And it's like, yeah, that's the story of Darth Maul.
Boom.
Yeah, that's the
I
story
mean,
of Darth
I always
Maul.
really liked Darth Maul because his design was so cool.
Yeah,
With the black bits on his face and his face paint, and
Yep.
his like 8 horns.
Yep.
And what I especially liked is I think he's like one of the. I mean, he's off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm not as huge of a, Star Wars nerd that knows all the little bits.
Uh-huh.
Off the top of my head, he's the only person I can think of who uses the Force and a lightsaber, who's not covered in 14 rags, a hood and a cape, and a cloak and a dressing gown, and 7 more rags.
I mean, he wears some rags sometimes.
No.
When he
But I
puts
mean,
his hood up.
I know, sometimes. But I mean, like sometimes you can actually see him, his silhouette and his arms and his body.
Yeah,
while he's fighting with
he's
his
got more
lightsaber.
of like it's almost like a sort of like a samurai sort of outfit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always found his design
It's
really cool.
It is cool. He was the best thing about the Phantom Menace, aside from Jar Jar Binks, of course. Who's the real Sith Lord?
Aside from
Aside
Jar
from
Jar Binks,
Jar
of
Binks,
course.
of course.
So I think it's like robot legs are going to malfunction.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how
It's
they gotta
gotta
defeat
happen.
him.
That's how they defeat him. He just
Like,
goes for a run. He can't help it.
Wallace and Gromit's wrong trousers.
It's the wrong trousers. Yes. That's what they needed.
Should have
to
stuck
do.
to the spider legs.
Yeah, he should've.
Honestly.
Darth Maul runaway trousers. Yes. It's like me and my dad always call the game Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Trousers. I don't know why.
There's no backstory behind it. That's
No,
just always been like
It was
that.
just because it's called Fallen Order. My dad always just remembered it as Fallen Trousers. So yeah,
Fun times, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's Star Wars done.